Today, Precarious plays Metroid Prime 2, Echoes. I think that it's the mix of organic and geometric in Metroid Prime. This looks like the interior of a tree, which I don't, this is not what the inside of a tree would look like, but it still reads that way, you know?
Yeah, well, I think the thing that I love about a lot of the visual language around Metroid.
And this looks like something must have died above us. Like that looks like a fossil.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you know.
Anyway, sorry.
I imagine that if you described Art Nouveau to someone who had never seen it, if you described it as like these regular geometric shapes intersecting with elements of the natural world to make graceful and sleek and repetitive patterns, like you would get a lot of the stuff that you get from Samus. Like, even if you're just looking at her suit, right? And, like, I think, you know, if you were trying to explain Art Nouveau stylings to an alien, for example, they'd be like this? And then I'd be like, you know, not like that. Like, you got, I mean, it's all there. You know? It's maybe not, it's a little brutal.
No, it's a completely different style.
Yeah.
Although, whenever we go to the Dark World, might have, oops. Oh no, we've already been to the Dark World. What am I talking about?
Yeah, we have, for a minute.
Yeah. Just long enough to lose all of our best stuff.
Yeah. I don't mind that so much. I like that you start out very powerful.
Hey. Don't mind if I do.
I like that that Samus, like, starts out as an ass kicker.
Yeah.
And the only reason she ever has any amount of difficulty is because, like, at some point or another, she, like, drops...
Chozo software updates.
Yeah, software updates, friggin' crashes, breaks her suit. Like, it's never... Like, if she had all her tools, we would be done. This wouldn't be a game.
Right. You know what my headcanon is that we only get to play the missions
when something gets messed up enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I totally agree. That's what my headcanon is too. Like,
because if we played the ones where she kept all of her stuff, it only takes like, it's a speed run.
Yeah,
It's just like watching a Metroid speed run.
Yeah, so I can imagine her. I mean, I don't think of her as being particularly talkative, but I can imagine her talking to a colleague or a glass of bourbon and being like, it's a pretty regular day at work today, but last week was a real bear. This one time I crashed my ship and all my suit bits fell off. It was real tough, but thankfully I landed on one of the planets that is related to the other planets I'm used to working on and was able to recover enough stuff and random artifacts to piece enough shit together to get back home.
Yeah.
This is a really rough week. I almost died. That doesn't happen very often anymore.
And it's sort of like the number of Samus stories that must end with either I saved an entire planet and species or did an utter genocide and blew up a whole planet.
Yeah. Like, I love Samus because the first thing I think about when I think of Samus after the fun arm cannon is the words ass kicker.
Aw, sorry, buddy.
Oh.
Final entry, Warrior Jeff Me. Their army swells, beasts and rogue machines join the ranks of the Horde, all eager to bring death to the Luminoth. The Aang sent these new additions to the industrial site to do battle with me while they watched from safely. Cowardly mongrels! My only regret in death is that I did not live to see the day of their defeat. May it come soon!
We'll work on it, buddy.
You got, no, this is, like, look, this one has...
Oh, he's blue.
Is that just coloration, or is that, that could be...
He's got the scruffy ruff.
That could be cybernetic or something.
I think they gave him fur to make them more mammally.
This reminds me a little bit of an impact crater. See, I told you we were gonna get to the, like the organic bits. The organic prime bits.
Also, I love a hexagon.
Did I show you the secret ending to Metroid Prime?
I don't know, did you?
Do you remember it?
I don't know. I think I do.
Well, if you don't know the password, I can't tell you the password.
Okay, well, I'll just watch back through our recordings.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
And figure it out.
We can just see if we got it, or if I showed it.
Because I remember something fiddly about, like, finishing out that playthrough. Our search for a home took us through the cosmos. For many a great cycle we roamed. Yet a place to call our own eluded us. In time, we began to despair, feeling the search was in vain. We considered remaining among the stars until a scout returned, with news of a world unlike any other. When we beheld Aether for the first time, so great was her beauty that we forsook the stars forever to live upon her surface. From that day forth, the Luminoth were of Aether, our blessed paradise.
So I guess it wasn't a poopy, like, class double F planet
Stink
after all.
rock.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I guess the other clause, the other condition is if your technology is so advanced that you can live in a place without donking it up too badly. I guess that's okay. This is a good-looking missile expansion.
It is.
It's way better than like the little weenie red missiles from some of the, like, I think most of the other ones.
Andy Weir.
Yeah.
Andy Weir. This is relevant. Spoilers for the Hail Mary project. It has been released fairly recently, so if you haven't read it, I'm sorry, get on that. The friendship that develops is like the most tender and sweet and perfect thing ever. It's like science friends. It's the type of friendship that I like, where like you work on a problem together and then you take care of each other, but you're also like being nerdy about things.
Just look at this. Like,
yeah.
Odds are a lot of people just walk straight through that door and then never look up there to see that.
But it's there.
Somebody had to model and animate all that. That's another reason why Metroid Prime is great. It's because it feels like there are little details that you can feel like, I bet I'm one of the only people that saw that. Relatively harmless in shadows, powerful and invisible in the light. No, thank you.
Oh, but the alien species that meets the human out in space is like perfectly strange and is described a few times as being about the same size as a Labrador.
What?
Yeah.
I thought it was, they were way bigger than that.
No. Kind of a short, round, pentagonal spider Labrador. Because
I missed that description, because I only overheard, like, I overheard a lot of the book, but not the whole thing. I must have missed that description because in my head, I had the image of, like, an elite from Halo, but with more arms.
Oh no. It's more like, what are those bouncy things in Legend of Zelda that have the eye?
A tektite?
Yeah, I think so. But like dark mottled brown green.
That is not the mental picture I had at all.
Made of rock and metals. But my favorite thing about them is that they can't perceive light.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it's just super fun to think about how their different, like, way of perceiving reality, how their different ways of perceiving reality have to translate.
Mm-hmm.
And that was super fun. And the reason that
that seems like it would be a really scary writing project.
Yeah. Well,
although after The Martian, that author probably has a lot of people that he can count on to fact check and proofread stuff.
Oh yeah, I know. Like, it takes a village to write an Andy Weir book. Because
you keep saying it like he's this super prolific author. I think he only has 2.
No,
right?
He's got more that I didn't know about.
Oh.
And now I'm like, do I read all of them? But you kind of have to be in a certain mood. Like, you want to read, like,
a math problem, which is not a knock. It might sound like it. I know,
it does, but it's
not for me.
Not for me, yes. Like, would I really like to read the funnest possible biology textbook? Like, with, like, anecdotes from the scientists who wrote it instead of dry. The data is here and the structure is there. Like, I would love to have a very short biology textbook that explains something in great detail.
Mm-hmm.
But then it had, like, an entire column to the left and right, like a big fat margin.
Mm-hmm.
With notes that said, like, you'll never believe how we figured that out. And oh my god, I remember that trip. I got, like, up to my waist in bog water and I thought I was going to drown, but we caught the leeches, so it was okay.
One of the surest signs to me that educational texts in the United States of America educational system aren't actually designed to teach anything. Yeah. It's all performative.
Yeah.
Is how boring they all are by design, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, we want this to be as unfun as possible. We only want you to learn this stuff if you have a natural inclination for it.
Yeah, Andy Weir should write textbooks. Or maybe...
That's not the point I was trying to make, but yeah. Or
maybe rewrite textbooks.
Sure. Yeah, I think if they actually wanted to teach people well, yeah, every textbook would have a more informal tone and would tell some sort of story, and just to give it, like, a practical frame, you know?